saw you
Murphys.
there. I said,
Of course, we are
brilliant.
thrilled to be joined by the connections of sovereignty. We have the Hall of Fame trainer, Bill Mott. This is his second Kentucky Derby after Country House in 2019. Junior Alvarado, congratulations on your first Kentucky Derby win. And representing Godolphin, he was here yesterday for the Kentucky Oaks. We got Michael Banahan, Godolphin's first Kentucky Derby win, but a big weekend for Godolphin. We'll talk more about that in a moment. But Junior, I would like to start with you and just ask you to please take us through that remarkable trip. You were already on the rail by the finish line. Tell us first of all about the break, and then in as much detail as you can, take us through the whole race.
First of all, thank you.
Yes.
Thank Mr. Mott and Team Godolphin. Yeah, he broke good, and I'll have to say probably the third or fourth jump after the break, the horse next to me on the outside kind of came right in front of me, and I clip heels a little bit right there, so I'm like thinking like, oh boy, I hope he didn't lose the shoes in this track like this, but then have to kind of like just keep going and trying to save ground, trying to see my way how could I get to save ground a little bit the first turn, and I think everything we just falling right into place for me. I got to save ground the first turn, and when we turned the backside, he was still, traveling very beautifully until, I would say we hit the 5 pole, and then that's when he kind of was saying to me, like, listen, I'm ready. So, from there I started picking it up. I didn't want to get too excited. And, right when we turned from home and I put him in the clear on the outside, I knew what he got. I knew what he's capable of, and he didn't disappoint me.
And Bill, maybe if you could pick it up from there, tell us your emotions in the last, say, quarter mile or so.
Well, I was silent, I guess, until they hit the wire, but then it all came out. I was lucky enough to be with my family, and we kind of had a brief celebration there until we went to the infield. Just a great feeling, and I'm so proud of the horse. I'm so proud of everybody that had anything to do with getting this horse to this point. And it takes a lot of people. It takes a family and it takes a community to get him ready, really. I mean, between the matings and raising them as babies and yearlings and, breaking them as 2-year-olds, and, we're lucky enough, we got very lucky to get this one in the barn, and it's just a really special feeling to win and have it happen for the team. Number one, my regular rider, Junior Alvarado, I mean, I think it made that special. I think it makes it special for both of us. And I've had quite a long relationship with the Godolphin team and the man behind the Godolphin team, Sheikh Mohammed. I think I am really thrilled and honored, and I think a lot, not only myself, but a lot of us owe him a lot for, keeping Godolphin going and the breeding operation that they've got going now. Michael does a great job. Dan Pride. It's just a real, solid organization, and they're team players. They let you be part of the team, and they let Junior and I be part of the team and help make the decisions on what's going on, and we work good together. I think we make decisions together. We talk about the horses, and it seems like it works out quite well. It really worked out well today.
Sure did. Michael, Sheikh Mohammed wanted to win this race for a very long time. It's been a big weekend for your operation. Just tell us what winning the Kentucky Derby means for Godolphin.
Well, as you said, it's been a long time in the coming, and we've had a few good chances in the past. We had Essential Quality a few years ago, and it just wasn't his day on the day. But to be able to win the Oaks yesterday and then back it up at the Derby today, and I didn't know the date of it, but it hasn't been done in 60, 70 years or something like that. So to be able to do that for our boss, the founder of Godolphin, Sheikh Mohammed, is so special. With a homebred horse, be able to get 2 colts into the race, 2 with big chances, and to be able to come out with the winner is unbelievably special for all our team. As Bill alluded to, it's a big team to take these horses, to get them here today, from foaling them out to raising them to having them in the pre-trainers and then getting them into the trainers themselves. And this horse has never really had too many bad days. Had a little bit of a lull in the winter time, and Bill and his team did a tremendous job. We were probably up against the wire, with today being our focus and our goal. And thankfully, he at the end of the day, he didn't have a straw in his path and just got better and better. And I think everyone that saw him work out here for the last couple of weeks will realise how well he was doing, and he was ready to run the race of his life, which he did run. And Bill said to me 2 weeks ago after his second last workout that this was a serious racehorse work. When a Hall of Fame trainer like Bill Mott tells you that, that'll instill an awful lot of confidence, because he doesn't come out with terms like that too often. So I knew this horse was in excellent shape.
Bill, you were understated this week, but you did seem happy and positive. Can you just tell us about coming into the race, your confidence, and then having it validated?
Well, I didn't have any reservations about him. You know what I mean? You've got to go out there and run the race. But the way the horse was doing, I really couldn't have asked for anything different in the last, 5 weeks or whatever it was since his last race. Everything had gone smoothly. And ordinarily, to win these type of races, you can't have many hiccups, in your training schedule or the way the horse is doing. And when it goes that smoothly, and you've got a talented horse and one that's capable of probably winning a race like this, it gives you a lot of confidence. And I think the one thing, I always respect the competition, and I really believe this was a very good field of Derby horses. I mean, I watched them all train all week, and there were some really nice moving horses in here. I mean, you could look at a half a dozen of them and you say, wow, this horse is really doing well. So I think we beat a group of horses that was talented and doing quite well, and obviously the horse from California that finished second was well thought of, and it makes you feel pretty good when your horse can outrun a horse like that.
A lot of people, I think, would have assumed that perhaps you backed off a little bit after the Fountain of Youth, having the points for the Derby. Would that be a fair way to characterize how you
No, I don't think so. I think we just kept him on a normal schedule. I maybe I backed off a little bit because he ran such a big race off of a layoff, and maybe I backed off of him and I didn't drill him too hard, because I thought, when they come back off a layoff and they run as big as he did on that day, sometimes they can react a little bit from a race like that, and perhaps he did react a little bit in the Florida Derby, but it was still a good solid race. The fact that he had run so big the first time, and I really didn't lose any confidence in him because he finished second. I think it's probably just knowing different circumstances on the track down there, and that it probably doesn't favor a stretch closer like him.
Did today feel any different, winning the Derby the natural way?
Well, I think it does. I think it does. I really, we always take them any way we can get them, but that was pretty special. And I've raced here at Churchill Downs for over 45 years. I've been in the same barn here at Churchill Downs since 1980. And I think I've made every meet here, spring, fall, since then, and we were lucky enough to be actually something I'm very proud of. Held the title for the number of wins. I held the title for 32 years, and now these young guys they've gone past me. They're chasing me, but that's the way it's meant to be. All these records are meant to be broken, but Churchill has really been special for me in my growth as a trainer, and I've trained for so many really good people from Kentucky that have supported me, and this is just carried over to today, and this was the icing on the cake, but I still want to win more.